She bandaged a Mafia boss with snake bite, not knowing who he was, what he did next. Chapter 1. The Bleeding Stranger. Ara Kim didn't know the man bleeding in the rain was worth $20 million dead. She only knew he was dying, and she was the only person who could stop it. The storm had come out of nowhere, the way mountain storms did in Gangwon province. One moment she'd been cataloguing native ferns for her graduate thesis, headlamp cutting through humid darkness. The next, thunder cracked like gunfire and rain hammered down in sheets that turned the forest floor to mud. She should have headed back to her research cabin. Should have packed up her samples and waited out the weather like any sensible botanist would. Instead, she heard the sound. Low. Controlled. Human. A groan that didn't belong in these mountains. Hello? Ara called, her voice swallowed by wind and rain. If you can hear me, make a sound. Silence. Then, faint. Don't. She followed the voice, boots slipping on wet rocks, flashlight beam bouncing wildly. The undergrowth thinned near a small clearing, and that's when she saw him. He was sprawled against a boulder, one hand pressed to his thigh, dark blood seeping between his fingers. Tall, broad-shouldered, maybe 35. Expensive hiking clothes torn and mud-streaked. His face was pale under the rain, jaw clenched so tight she could see the muscle jumping. Snake bite. She knew it instantly. 2 puncture wounds. Swelling. The way his breathing had gone shallow. Don't touch me. His Korean was perfect, soul-polished, the kind that marked old money and private schools. Leave. Now. If I leave, you die. Ara dropped to her knees, already pulling her emergency kit from her pack. And I'm not in the habit of letting people die when I can help them. You don't understand what you're. He sucked in a sharp breath as she cut away his pant leg with her field knife. Mamusha viper, she said, identifying the bite pattern immediately. You have maybe 30 minutes before the venom does permanent damage. Stop talking and let me work. His eyes locked onto hers, dark and furious, and something else. Calculating. Like he was deciding whether to let her help or push her away. She didn't give him the choice. Her hands moved with practiced efficiency. Pressure bandage above the wound. Immobilize the leg. She had antivenom in her kit, thank God, required equipment for anyone working in these mountains. You're a doctor. His voice had gone rough with pain. Botanist. Which means I know more about venomous plants and animals than most doctors. She prepped the syringe, hands steady despite the way adrenaline screamed through her system. This is going to hurt. Everything hurts. She injected the antivenom, watching his face for signs of allergic reaction. His jaw tightened, but he didn't make a sound. Tough, she thought. Or trained not to show weakness. That's when she heard it. Engines. Multiple vehicles, coming up the mountain access road. The man's entire body went rigid. They can't find me. Who? But even as she asked, Ara's instincts screamed danger. If they see you with me, he said quietly, each word precise despite the pain, they will kill you. They won't ask questions. They won't hesitate. Headlights cut through the trees, maybe 200 meters away. Can you stand? Ara asked. I don't think. That wasn't a question. She hauled him up, his weight nearly dragging her down. He was heavy, all muscle and dead weight. My cabin is a kilometer west. We move now, or we die here. For a long moment, he stared at her. Then he nodded once. They moved through the forest like ghosts, him leaning heavily on her, both of them soaked and shaking. Behind them, voices shouted in Korean. Flashlight beams swept the clearing they'd just left. Ara's cabin appeared through the rain, small and dark and blessedly empty. She keyed in the code, shouldered open the door, and together they collapsed inside. She locked the door, drew the curtains, killed all the lights. In the darkness, she could hear him breathing. Ragged, but steady. Alive. Thank you, he said finally. You just saved my life. Don't thank me yet, Ara whispered. Because I think I just signed my own death warrant. Outside, a helicopter passed low overhead, searchlight sweeping the forest like the eye of God. And Ara Kim, graduate student in botany, realized with perfect clarity that nothing in her life would ever be the same. Chapter 2. Dangerous Questions. By morning, the stranger had a fever. Ara woke to find him thrashing in her narrow bed, skin burning hot, delirious with infection despite the antivenom. She stripped off his ruined clothes, trying not to notice the scars that covered his torso. Knife wounds. Bullet graze. The kinds of scars that told stories she didn't want to know. She bathed him with cool water, monitoring his temperature, forcing antibiotics down his throat when he was lucid enough to swallow. He woke violently just after dawn. 1 second he was unconscious. The next, his hand was around her wrist, grip like iron, eyes wild. "Don't move," he said. "Who are you? Where am I?" "My name is Ara Kim. You're in my research cabin. You got bitten by a snake last night, and I saved your life." She kept her voice calm, clinical. "You can let go of my wrist now." He looked down, seeming to realize he was holding her. Released her immediately. "I'm sorry." "I don't." He sat up too fast, pain flashing across his face. "How long have I been here?" 8 hours. "You've been fighting an infection." Ara backed up, giving him space. "The antivenom worked, but your body's been through hell." He assessed the room with the same calculating intensity he'd used on her in the forest. Single door. 2 windows. Emergency exit through the back. She watched him catalogue every escape route, every potential weapon. Not a hiker, she thought. Something else entirely. "I need to leave," he said. "You can barely stand." "I've managed worse." "I'm sure you have." She crossed her arms. "But you're not leaving until you tell me what's going on. Who were those people last night? Why were they hunting you?" "You don't want to know." "I'm harboring a fugitive in my research cabin. I think I deserve to know." His jaw tightened. For a long moment, he just looked at her. Then, "What's your full name?" "Ara Kim. I'm a doctoral candidate at Seoul National University, studying endemic plant species in Gangwon Province. I've been doing field research here for 3 months." She tilted her head. "Your turn." Kang Minute Jun. The lie came too smoothly. Too practiced. "Try again," Ara said. Something flickered in his eyes. "Surprise, maybe. Why would you think I'm lying?" "Because honest people don't get hunted through mountains in the middle of the night. Because you assess this cabin like you're trained in tactical security. Because you have scars that suggest you've been shot and stabbed multiple times." She leaned against the counter. "So let's try this again. Who are you really?" He studied her for a long time. Then, unexpectedly, he smiled. It transformed his whole face, made him look younger, almost approachable. "You're very perceptive, Ara Kim." "I'm a scientist. I observe things." "My name is actually Park Jae-sung." Another pause, another calculation. "I'm from Seoul. I'm involved in import-export business." That's a creative way of saying organized crime. The smile vanished. "You should be more careful about making accusations. You should be more careful about lying to someone who saved your life." Ara moved to the small kitchen, started making tea. Her hand shook slightly, but she kept her voice steady. "I'm not stupid, Mr. Park. Or whatever your real name is. I know I'm in danger just from helping you. The least you can do is be honest about what kind of danger." Silence. Then, "You're right. I'm sorry." She turned, surprised by the apology. "My name is Park Jae-sung. That part's true. I do work in import-export, but not the legal kind." He held her gaze. "I run operations for one of Seoul's major organizations. Last night, I was meeting with a supplier who decided to set me up instead. The men hunting me work for a rival who's been trying to eliminate me for months." "You're Mafia." "That's an Italian word. We prefer other terms." "I don't care what you prefer." Ara poured tea with hands that had steadied now that she had information. "Are they still looking for you?" "Yes." "Will they find this cabin?" "Eventually. It's remote, but not invisible." "How long do we have?" "Maybe a day." maybe less. He accepted the tea she offered. You should leave. Go back to Seoul. Forget you ever saw me. And you? What happens to you? I'll figure something out. Ara sat across from him, cradling her own cup. You can barely walk. You have an infection that needs monitoring. If you leave now, you'll collapse before you make it a kilometer. Better me than you. I didn't save your life just so you could throw it away 12 hours later. She met his eyes. I'm not leaving you. But I need you to promise me something. What? Don't lie to me again. Ever. About anything. Her voice was steel. I can handle truth. I can't handle deception. He looked at her for a long time, something shifting in his expression. Respect, maybe. Or the beginning of something more dangerous. I promise, he said finally. Outside, a car engine sounded in the distance. They both froze. That's them, Jae-sung said quietly. They're checking the area. Ara's heart hammered, but her mind stayed clear. There's a false panel under the bed. Storage space. Get in. Ara. Now. He moved, pain slowing him but not stopping him. She helped him into the narrow space, handed him a flashlight and his gun, which she'd found in his jacket. Stay silent no matter what you hear, she whispered. Then she replaced the panel, smoothed the blanket, and went to answer the knock that had just started at her door. When she opened it, 3 men stood on her porch. Expensive suits. Cold eyes. Guns barely concealed under their jackets. Good morning, the lead man said in Korean. His smile didn't reach his eyes. We are looking for someone. Have you seen any injured hikers in the area? Ara Kim, botanist, doctoral candidate, ordinary woman, smiled back. No, she lied. I've been alone out here for weeks. But if I do see anyone, should I call someone? The man studied her face, looking for cracks, for tells. He found nothing. That won't be necessary, he said finally. Enjoy your research, miss. They left. Ajray closed the door, locked it, and counted to 100 before she moved. When she let Jae-sung out of the hiding space, his eyes were dark with something she couldn't name. You lied for me, he said. I did. Why? Because I made a choice last night in the rain. Ara held his gaze. I chose to save you. And I don't make choices halfway. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she didn't, he touched her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone. You have no idea what you've just done, he said quietly. Then explain it to me. I've just made you mine to protect. In my world, that's not temporary. That's not casual. His eyes burned. They saw you. They know you lied. Which means you're now part of this, whether you want to be or not. Ara's breath caught. Not from fear. From something else entirely. And what if I do want to be part of this? She asked. Then God help us both. He kissed her then. Fierce and desperate and full of promises that terrified her. And Ara Kim kissed him back, knowing she was falling into danger with her eyes wide open. Chapter 3. The Woman Who Stayed. 3 days. That's how long they had before everything changed. 3 days of Ara monitoring Jae-sung's recovery, watching infection fade and strength return. 3 days of careful conversation, each word weighted with the awareness that they were strangers learning to trust each other under impossible circumstances. 3 days of attraction building like a storm. Tell me about your research, Jae-sung said on the second morning, watching her catalog plant samples. It's boring. I doubt anything about you is boring. Ara glanced at him, caught off guard by the sincerity in his voice. I'm studying how endemic plant species adapt to climate change. Specifically whether temperature shifts are causing mutations in reproduction patterns. That's not boring. That's important. Most people's eyes glaze over when I talk about plant biology. Most people are idiots. He moved closer, carefully, his injury still limiting his movement. What made you choose botany? My grandmother. Ara's voice softened. She had a garden in Jeju. Used to teach me the name of every flower, every herb. Said plants were honest, They didn't lie or pretend to be something they weren't. She smiled. After she died, I wanted to understand them better. Understand why she loved them so much. She sounds wise. She was. Ara set down her notebook. What about you? What made you choose your profession? I didn't choose it. I inherited it. His expression went distant. My father ran operations in Gangnam. When he was killed, leadership fell to me. I was 23. Too young, too angry, too determined to prove I could be as ruthless as he was. And did you? Prove it? Yes. The word carried weight. I proved it thoroughly. Made examples. Eliminated threats. Built an empire on fear and efficiency. He looked at her. I'm not a good man, Ara. You should know that. I don't think you're nearly as bad as you want me to believe. Why? Because bad men don't apologize. They don't worry about putting others in danger. They don't look at their choices with regret. She moved closer. You're haunted by the things you've done. That means part of you still has a conscience. A conscience doesn't undo the bodies I've buried. No. But it means you could choose to stop burying them. They stared at each other, the air between them charged with something dangerous. You make it sound simple, he said quietly. It's not simple. It's just possible. He reached for her, and this time when he kissed her, it wasn't desperate. It was deliberate. A choice made with clear eyes and steady hands. Ara responded with the same deliberation, knowing exactly what she was doing, who she was kissing, what world she was stepping into. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Jae-sung pressed his forehead to hers. I can't keep you safe if you stay close to me, he said. Then teach me to keep myself safe. Ara. I'm not naive. I'm not helpless. She gripped his shirt. I'm choosing this. Choosing you. Stop trying to make that choice for me. Something in his expression cracked. The control he maintained so carefully, the distance he used as armor. You're going to destroy me, he breathed. Only if you let me. They spent that night talking. Really talking. He told her about his father's death, about inheriting an empire built on violence. About the men who tried to overthrow him, the choices he'd made to survive, the line between protection and cruelty that he'd crossed so many times he couldn't see it anymore. She told him about her family, about the pressure to marry well and abandon her research. About choosing her own path even when it meant disappointing everyone who claimed to love her. You're braver than I am, he said as dawn broke on the third day. No. I just have less to lose. That's not true anymore. His hand found hers. If something happens to you because of me. The sound of helicopters cut him off. Multiple helicopters, close and getting closer. Jae-sung was on his feet instantly, moving to the window despite his injury. They've expanded the search perimeter. Can they find us here? Yes. Maybe not today, but soon. He turned to her, decision hardening in his eyes. I need to call my people. Get extraction. But once I do, they'll know your location. Which means you have to come with me. To Seoul. To my world. To safety under my protection. He crossed to her. I know what I'm asking. I know this isn't what you signed up for. But I can't leave you here, and I can't keep running on a leg that's barely healed. Ara's mind raced. Her research. Her degree. Her life. All of it would be suspended the moment she left this mountain with him. If I come with you, she said slowly, what happens to my work? My doctorate. I'll make sure you can finish it. Remote access, resources, whatever you need. His voice was urgent. But right now, I need you alive more than I need you educated. That's not your choice to make. Ara, please. I'm not saying no. She held up a hand. I'm saying you need to understand that I won't be your kept woman. I won't sit in some apartment waiting for you to decide when I'm allowed to live my life. I would never ask that. Good. Because I'm choosing to come with you. On my terms. She started gathering her essential research materials. I finish my degree. I maintain my academic connections. And you don't make decisions about my safety without consulting me first. Relief flooded his face. Agreed. I mean it, Jae-sung. Partnership or nothing. Partnership, he promised. I swear it. He made the call. 30 minutes later, 3 black SUVs arrived at the cabin. Men in expensive suits poured out, immediately securing the perimeter. One approached Jae-sung with obvious deference. Boss. Are you hurt? Nothing permanent. This is Ara Kim. Jae-sung's hand went to her lower back, protective and possessive. She saved my life. She's under my personal protection. Spread the word. The man's eyes widened slightly, understanding the weight of that declaration. Of course, boss. They loaded into the middle SUV, Ara sandwiched between Jae-sung and another guard. As they pulled away from the cabin, she watched 3 months of research disappear into the forest. Regrets? Jae-sung asked quietly. Ask me again when I'm not terrified. He took her hand, and they drove toward Seoul in silence. Toward safety. Toward danger. Toward a future neither of them could predict. But they drove together, and somehow, that was enough. Chapter 4. The World He Built. Seoul hit Ara like a wall. After months in the quiet mountains, the city felt overwhelming. Noise, lights, millions of people all moving with purpose she couldn't understand. Jae-sung's apartment was in Gangnam, top floor of a building so expensive even the elevator was intimidating. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the Han River. Minimalist furniture that probably cost more than her entire education. Art on the walls that she recognized from auction catalogs. This is temporary, he said, watching her take it all in. Until we figure out something more permanent. How is this temporary? This place is huge. It's secure. That's all that matters right now. He moved to the kitchen, started making tea. A domestic gesture that looked strange on him. My people are handling cleanup. Making sure the suppliers who set me up understand there are consequences. Give it a week, and things will settle. A week. Ara sat on a couch that felt like sitting on air. And then what? Then we figure out our lives. He brought her tea. I meant what I said. You finish your degree. I'll arrange remote access to your university resources, set up a home lab if you need it. You don't have to do all that. Yes, I do. His eyes were serious. You sacrificed your research for me. I'm not going to let that be permanent. I didn't sacrifice anything. I made a choice. Then let me help you honor that choice. Before she could respond, the apartment door opened. 3 men entered without knocking, and Ara's instincts screamed danger before she realized they were Jae-sung's people. Boss. The lead man bowed slightly. We have news about the supplier situation. Can it wait? No, sir. There's been a complication. Jae-sung's entire demeanor changed. Hardened. What kind of complication? The rivals know about the woman. Silence crashed through the apartment. Explain, Jae-sung said, voice flat and deadly. They have photos. Someone saw her at the cabin, started asking questions. Our contact says they're planning to use her as leverage. Ara's blood went cold. Use me how? The men looked uncomfortable, like they'd forgotten she could understand Korean. Tell her, Jae-sung ordered. They're going to try to take you, the man said reluctantly. Force boss to make concessions in exchange for your safety. Over my dead body, Jae-sung said quietly. That's what they're counting on, Ara said. Everyone looked at her. They think you'll do anything to protect me, which gives them power over you. You're very perceptive, the lead man said, something like approval in his voice. So what do we do? Ara asked. We? Jae-sung shook his head. You do nothing. You stay here where it's safe. I handle this. That's not partnership. This is different. How? She stood, meeting his eyes. You promised me equal say in decisions about my safety. This is exactly that kind of decision. The other men shifted uncomfortably, clearly unused to anyone challenging their boss. Ara, These people are dangerous. I know. I've been living with danger for days now. Her voice was steel. But hiding me away doesn't solve anything. It just proves they're right to see me as leverage. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we flip the script. ARA's mind raced. Scientists' brain finding patterns in chaos. They think I'm weak, helpless. Something to be protected. What if we show them I'm not? Absolutely not. Why? Because you're afraid I'll get hurt? Or because you're afraid of what it means if I can take care of myself? The question hit harder than she'd intended. Jae-sung's jaw tightened, and she saw the truth in his eyes. He was terrified of losing her. I can't lose you, he said quietly. I won't survive it. Then teach me to survive this world. Asia moved closer. Give me the tools, the training, the knowledge. Make me strong enough that they can't use me against you. That takes time. Then we buy time. She looked at the other men. What if I disappear? Officially. Leave the country, go underground, whatever you call it. Make them think they've lost their leverage entirely. One of the men laughed, short and surprised. That could actually work. It's too risky, Jae-sung said. Riskier than keeping me here as a target. ARA challenged. They argued for an hour. Eventually, Jae-sung's people sided with her. The plan was solid, they said. Unconventional, but solid. Fine, Jae-sung finally conceded. But we do this my way. Full security detail. Communication protocols. No risks. Agreed. ARA smiled despite the fear churning in her stomach. When do we start? Tomorrow. Tonight. He looked at his men. Leave us. They filed out, and suddenly ARA was alone with Jae-sung in an apartment that felt too big and too small at the same time. You terrify me, he said quietly. Good. We're even. He crossed to her, hands gentle on her face. I'm not used to this. Someone who pushes back. Someone who refuses to be protected. Get used to it. He kissed her then, and this time there was no hesitation, no holding back. Just hunger and fear and the desperate need to feel alive in a world that kept trying to kill them both. They made it to his bedroom, clothes hitting the floor between kisses. ARA had never felt anything like this. Raw need combined with absolute trust. He touched her like she was precious and dangerous at the same time. Are you sure? He breathed against her neck. Stop asking me questions you already know the answer to. Later, lying tangled in sheets that cost more than her rent, ARA stared at the ceiling and wondered what the hell she'd gotten herself into. Regrets? Jae-sung asked, echoing his question from the car. Ask me when we are not terrified. So never. Probably never. He pulled her closer, and they lay there in expensive silence, two people from different worlds trying to figure out how to survive the next one. Outside, Seoul glittered like broken glass. And somewhere in that city, people were planning ways to tear them apart. But for now, in this moment, they had each other. And that would have to be enough. Chapter 5. The Price of Protection. The betrayal came from where ARA least expected it. Her own desperation. 2 weeks after arriving in Seoul, ARA sat in Jae-sung's apartment scrolling through university emails. Her advisor was getting impatient. Her research window was closing. If she didn't return to the field soon, someone else would claim her study site. I need to go back, she told Jae-sung over breakfast. Back where? Gangwon Province. My research. I can't abandon it entirely. His jaw tightened. It's not safe. It's been 2 weeks. You said things would settle. They have. Mostly. But there are still elements looking for you. Elements. ARA set down her coffee with more force than necessary. You mean people. Say what you mean, Jae-sung. People who want to hurt you to get to me. Then come with me. Bring security. But I can't just hide here forever. They argued. It was becoming their pattern. Him trying to protect. Her pushing back. 3 days, he finally conceded. You get 3 days in the mountains with a full security team. That's all I can safely give you. Deal. What ARA didn't know, couldn't know, was that her phone was being monitored. Not by Jae-sung's people. By the rivals who'd been waiting for exactly this kind of opening. They arrived at her cabin on a Tuesday morning. The security team swept the area, declared it clear. Set up perimeter surveillance. ARA threw herself into work, cataloguing samples, running tests, feeling alive for the first time in weeks. On the second night, someone breached the perimeter. ARA woke to gunfire. Not close, but close enough. She reached for her phone, but it was dead. Reached for the panic button Jae-sung had given her. Also dead. Fear flooded her system, but she forced herself to think. The safe room under the cabin. She'd memoized the route. She was halfway there when the door burst open. Not Jae-sung's men. Someone else. ARA Kim, the man said in Korean. He was young, maybe 30, with cold eyes and a calm smile. We've been waiting for you to leave your fortress. What do you want? To have a conversation with Park Jae-sung. You're the invitation. I'm not going anywhere with you. That's not how this works. He gestured, and 2 more men entered. We can do this easy, or we can do this hard. Your choice. ARA ran. Made it exactly 10 meters before they caught her, wrestling her to the ground. Something sharp jabbed her neck. Sedative. The world went grey at the edges. Her last conscious thought was Jae-sung's voice in her memory. I can't lose you. She'd just broken that promise. When ARA woke, she was in a warehouse. Classic villain headquarters, she thought hysterically. Concrete floors, industrial lighting, the smell of oil and rust. She was tied to a chair, wrists bound behind her. Her head throbbed from the sedative. Ah, you're awake. A man approached. Older, maybe 50, with expensive clothes and eyes like dead fish. I'm Han Suk-jin. Perhaps Park Jae-sung has mentioned me. ARA said nothing. No? How disappointing. I've certainly heard about you. The woman who saved his life. The botanist. He circled her like a shark. Tell me, Miss Kim, do you know what your boyfriend does for a living? I know enough. Do you know how many people he's killed? How many families he's destroyed? How many lives he's ruined in pursuit of power? Do you want me to ask you the same questions? His smile widened. Smart and brave. I see why he likes you. What do you want? I want him to suffer. Han Suk-jin leaned in close. I want him to understand what it feels like to lose everything. And you, Miss Kim, are how I'm going to teach him that lesson. Fear spiked through her, but ARA kept her voice steady. Killing me won't break him. It'll just make him hunt you forever. Who said anything about killing? His tone went soft, poisonous. There are so many worse things than death. Before ARA could respond, the warehouse door exploded inward. Jae-sung came through it like vengeance incarnated. He moved with brutal efficiency, taking down guards with precise violence. No hesitation. No mercy. This was the man he'd warned her about. The killer underneath the careful control. Han Suk-jin grabbed ARA, gun to her head. One more step and she dies. Jae-sung froze. In that moment, ARA saw everything. His fear. His rage. His absolute willingness to do anything, sacrifice anything, to keep her safe. And she understood, finally, what she'd done. By running back to her research, by refusing to stay hidden, she'd given his enemies exactly what they needed. Leverage. Let her go, Jae-sung said, voice empty of emotion. This is between us. No. This is exactly what it's always been. Han Suk-jin pressed the gun harder. You took my territory. I take your woman. Fair trade. I'll give you everything. Territory, money, operations. Just let her go. Jae-sung. No, ARA started. The gun pressed hard enough to hurt. Quiet. What happened next took 3 seconds. Jae-sung nodded to someone behind Han Suk-jin. A sniper shot from the rafters. The gun clattered to the floor. ARA moved on instinct, throwing herself sideways as Jae-sung rushed forward. The warehouse erupted in chaos. Gunfire, shouts, bodies hitting concrete. When it was over, Han Suk-jin was down. Not dead, but neutralized. Jae-sung cut through Aore's restraints with shaking hands. Are you hurt? His voice was ragged. Did he hurt you? I'm fine. I'm okay. He pulled her against him so hard she couldn't breathe. God, I thought. I know. Aore held him just as tightly. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. They stayed like that for a long moment while his people secured the warehouse, called cleaners, handled the aftermath. Then Jae-sung pulled back, and his expression was shattered. I can't do this, he said quietly. Can't do what? This. Us. I can't keep you safe, Aore. Tonight proved that. You did keep me safe. You saved me. I had to slaughter 6 people to do it. His voice broke. You were tied to a chair with a gun to your head because you're with me. Because I was selfish enough to think I could have you and keep you safe at the same time. Jae-sung. I'm ending this. Tonight. He stepped back, putting distance between them. My people will take you home. Set you up with new identity if you need it. Protection until things settle. But I can't. His hands shook. I can't watch you die because of me. That's not your choice to make. Yes, it is. This is my world. These are my consequences. He looked at her with eyes full of pain. I'm letting you go. No. Aore. No. She stepped toward him. You don't get to make this decision for me. You don't get to decide I'm safer without you. You are safer without me. Tonight proved that. Tonight proved I made a stupid choice. That I put my research above my safety. That I didn't trust your judgment about danger. Her voice cracked. But that's on me, not you. Don't punish us both for my mistake. This isn't punishment. This is protection. This is cowardice. The word hit like a slap. You're so afraid of becoming your father, of failing to protect the people you love, that you're pushing away the one person who actually wants to stand beside you. Better alone than grieving. You're already grieving. Look at yourself. Aoore moved closer. You think letting me go will hurt less? You think you'll just forget about me and move on? His silence was answer enough. I love you, she said. The words hung between them like shattered glass. I know it's fast. I know it's insane. But I love you. And I'm not letting you throw that away because you're scared. Aore, please. No. You promised me partnership. You promised me honesty. This, she gestured at the warehouse, at the bodies, at everything. This is you breaking that promise. You're making decisions about my life, my safety, my future without consulting me. Because I'm trying to save you. I don't need saving. I need you to trust me. Her eyes burned. I need you to trust that I know what I'm choosing. That I understand the risks and I'm choosing you anyway. Jae-sung looked at her, and she watched him war with himself. Fear against love. Control against surrender. If I let you stay, he said finally, voice raw, if I'm selfish enough to keep you, I need you to promise me something. What? Never put yourself in danger for your research again. Never prioritize anything above your safety. His hands cupped her face. I will give you anything. Labs, resources, funding. But I can't watch you walk into danger and pretend I'm okay with it. That's not fair. It's not negotiable. His thumb brushed her cheek. I'll compromise on everything else. But not your life. Never your life. Aore understood what he was asking. What he needed. Okay, she said. I promise. No more unnecessary risks. Swear it. I swear. She pulled him down, kissing him hard. Now swear to me you won't push me away again. I swear. They held each other in that warehouse, surrounded by violence and consequence, 2 people choosing love in a world that punished it. We should go, Jae-sung said finally. Cleaners will be here soon. Your people are very efficient at this. Too efficient. It's depressing. They walked out together, past bodies being moved, evidence being erased. ARA tried not to look too closely. Tried not to think about how easily this could have ended differently. In the car, Jae-sung held her hand so tight it hurt. "I meant it," he said. "I can't lose you." "You won't." But even as she said it, ARA wondered if she was making a promise she could keep. Because loving a man like Park Jae-sung meant accepting that danger would always be there, waiting in the shadows. And she just learned exactly what that danger looked like. Chapter 6. The Breaking Point. 3 months. That's how long they lasted before everything fell apart again. 3 months of ARA splitting time between Seoul and her research, always with security. 3 months of building something real with Jae-sung. Learning his rhythms, his silences, the way he touched her like she might disappear. 3 months of pretending they could make this work. Then ARA made a discovery. She was going through Jae-sung's study, looking for a book he'd mentioned, when she found the file. Hidden, but not well enough. Evidence of transactions she didn't understand. Names. Dates. Amounts that made her stomach turn. "What is this?" she asked that night, file in hand. Jae-sung's face went carefully blank. "Where did you find that?" "Your study." "What is it?" "Business records." "For what kind of business?" But even as she asked, ARA was putting pieces together. Import-export. Large cash transactions. Names she recognized from news reports about corruption. Money laundering. "Oh God," she whispered. "This is how you clean money. This is your actual business." ARA. "Don't." She backed away. "Don't lie to me. Not about this." He didn't lie. Just stood there, watching her realize the truth. "How much of your empire is legitimate?" she asked. "Maybe 20%. And the rest?" "The rest is what keeps us alive. What keeps my people employed, my territory secure, my enemies afraid." His voice was flat. "You knew what I was. I knew you were involved in organized crime. I didn't know you were actively laundering money for half of Seoul's criminal enterprises. What did you think I did? Politely ask people to respect my territory? I thought," Ara's voice broke. "I thought you were trying to go legitimate. You said your father built an empire. You didn't say it was built on corruption and blood money. My father built something from nothing. I'm protecting his legacy. By becoming everything he probably died fighting against." The words hit harder than she'd meant them to. Jae-sung flinched like she'd struck him. "You don't know anything about my father." "Then tell me. Make me understand how this," she shook the file. "How this is protecting anything. You want the truth." His voice went hard. "Fine. My father tried to go legitimate. Tried to clean up operations, make everything legal. You know what happened? His rivals saw weakness. They came after him. After my mother. They killed him in front of our house while she watched." Ara's anger cracked. "Jae-sung." "So yes, I became exactly what killed him. Because being ruthless keeps people alive. Being legitimate gets you murdered." He took the file from her hands. "This empire? It's built on fear. And fear is the only thing that works in my world." "That's not true." "Isn't it? Look at us. You nearly died because someone thought I'd gone soft. Thought love made me weak. Love doesn't make you weak. In my world, it does." He moved away from her. "Maybe I was wrong. Maybe we can't make this work after all. Don't do this. Don't push me away because I asked questions." "I'm not pushing you away. I'm being realistic." He looked at her with eyes that had gone cold. "You're a scientist. You believe in evidence, in facts. The fact is that my world is poison. And the longer you're in it, the more it's going to destroy you. So what are you saying?" "I'm saying maybe you should go back to your mountains. Finish your research. Find someone who doesn't have blood on their hands." The dismissal in his voice shattered something in Ara's chest. "You're a coward," she said quietly. "What?" "You heard me. You're a coward." She grabbed her coat. "Every time things get hard, every time I see something that scares you, You try to push me away. Call it protection. But really? You're just terrified of being vulnerable. ARA. I chose you knowing what you were. Knowing your world was dangerous. But you can't accept that choice because accepting it means trusting me. Means believing I'm strong enough to stand beside you instead of behind you. She headed for the door. When you figure out the difference, call me. Where are you going? Away from you. She left. Walked out of his apartment, out of his building, into Seoul's neon chaos. Her phone rang 5 times before she reached the street. She ignored it. By the time she got to her friend's apartment, she had 17 missed calls. She turned off her phone and cried until she couldn't breathe. 2 weeks of silence. ARA threw herself into work, coordinating with her university remotely, analyzing data, writing papers. Anything to keep her mind off Jae-sung. It didn't work. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw him. The way he'd looked at her in that warehouse. The desperation in his voice when he'd said he couldn't lose her. The fear in his eyes when she'd walked away. You're miserable, her friend Minute G said over soju one night. I'm fine. You're eating instant ramen for every meal and you've lost 5 pounds. You're not fine. He's a criminal, Minute G. Money laundering. Corruption. Probably worse things I don't even know about. So? ARA stared at her. So you knew that going in. What changed? I didn't know the extent. Bull. You knew enough. Minute G poured more soju. You knew he was dangerous. You knew his business wasn't clean. You chose him anyway. So what really changed? ARA was quiet for a long time. He pushed me away. And you let him. What was I supposed to do? Fight for him. Like you've been fighting for everything else in your life. Minute G leaned forward. You love him? Yes. Does he love you? I think so. He's never said it. Then why are you sitting here drinking bad soju instead of telling him you're not giving up? Because I'm scared. The admission came out broken. I'm scared he's right. That his world will destroy me. That loving him means losing myself. Or maybe loving him means finally finding yourself. Minute G squeezed her hand. You've spent your whole life doing what you're supposed to. Good grades. Respectable career. Playing it safe. Maybe this man is the first real risk you've ever taken. Some risk. Could get me killed. Could also make you happier than you've ever been. ARA thought about that all night. Thought about Jae-sung's face when he looked at her. The way he touched her like she was precious. The careful way he tried to protect her even when she didn't want protection. The fear underneath all his control. By morning, she'd made a decision. She was going to fight for him. One more time. Chapter 7. The Woman Who Wouldn't Leave. ARA showed up at Jae-sung's apartment at 6 in the morning. His security tried to stop her. She walked past them like they didn't exist. The door was locked. She pounded on it until her hand hurt. Park Jae-sung, she shouted. Open this door or I'm calling every contact I have in law enforcement and telling them exactly what you do. The door opened. Jae-sung stood there in sweatpants and a t-shirt, hair messy, eyes shadowed like he hadn't slept in days. You look terrible, ARA said. You look furious. I'm furious. She pushed past him into the apartment. I'm furious that you're such an idiot. That you think pushing me away protects either of us. That you can't see what's right in front of you. ARA. I'm not finished. She turned on him. You said love makes you weak. You're wrong. Love makes you human. It makes you vulnerable, yes. But it also makes you stronger because you have something worth protecting. Something worth changing for. I can't change what I am. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to let me in. She crossed the space between them. All the way in. The ugly parts. The criminal parts. The parts you're ashamed of. Let me see all of it and make my own choice. You don't know what you're asking. Then show me. Take me into your world. Really into it. Show me how it works, why it works, what it would take to make it different. You want to see the blood on my hands. I want to see you. All of you. Her voice cracked. I love you. The real you. Not the version you think I need you to be. For a long moment, Jae-sung just stared at her. Then his control shattered. He kissed her desperately, hands tangling in her hair, both of them gasping. I love you, he breathed against her mouth. God, I love you. I've been going insane. Then stop pushing me away. I'll try. I'll try so hard. He pulled her closer. But Ara, I need you to understand. My world is complicated. Dangerous. There are things I have to do to maintain power. Choices I have to make that you won't agree with. Then we'll disagree. We'll fight about it. But we do it together. Even knowing what I am. Especially knowing what you are. She held his face. You're not your father. You're not defined by his legacy or his choices. You're Park Jae-sung. And I'm choosing you. Every complicated, dangerous, frustrating part of you. He laughed, the sound broken and relieved. You're insane. Probably. She kissed him again. But I'm your kind of insane. They spent the rest of that day talking. Really talking. He showed her everything. The ledgers. The operations. The careful balance between legitimate business and criminal enterprise. He explained how he was slowly moving things toward legality. How it took years to untangle generations of corruption. How every step toward legitimacy made him vulnerable to rivals who saw weakness. It's not as simple as just walking away, he said. If I try to go clean too fast, I lose protection. My people lose income. And the power vacuum gets filled by someone worse. So what's the plan? Long term? Build enough legitimate infrastructure that I can transition out of the criminal side without leaving my people exposed. He rubbed his face. But that's years away. Maybe decades. Then we take it one step at a time. Ara curled against him. What's the first step? Probably not falling in love with a botanist who asks too many questions. Too late for that. Way too late. They fell into a new rhythm after that. Ara still worked on her research, but with full awareness of the security implications. Jae-sung still ran his empire, but with her input on decisions that affected their life together. It wasn't perfect. They fought about his overprotectiveness, about her stubbornness, about the impossible balance between safety and freedom. But they fought together. And slowly, impossibly, it started to work. 6 months after their reconciliation, Ara finished her doctorate. Jae-sung rented out an entire restaurant to celebrate, invited her whole family, beamed with pride when she walked across the stage. Dr. Kim, he said that night, pulling her close. I'm so proud of you. Dr. Kim, who's dating a mobster. My mother's thrilled. Your mother loves me. My mother thinks you're going to get me killed. I'm working on proving her wrong. How's that going? Terribly. I almost shot your cousin when he got too close to you at dinner. Ara laughed, the sound echoing through the empty restaurant. You're impossible. You love it. I love you. The words still felt new. Still felt dangerous. But they also felt right. I have something for you, Jae-sung said, pulling out a small box. Ara's heart stuttered. If that's what I think it is. It's not a ring. Not yet. He opened it. Inside was a key. It's to a lab space in Gangnam. Fully equipped. Yours to use however you want. Jae-sung. You said you needed space to continue your research. I'm giving it to you. His eyes were soft. No strings. No conditions. Just support. Ara took the key, tears blurring her vision. Thank you. You don't have to thank me. Yes, I do. Because this, she held up the key. This is you seeing me. Really seeing me. Not just as someone to protect, but as a partner with her own dreams. You are my partner. In everything. They kissed in that empty restaurant, two people from impossible worlds building something new. Something that shouldn't work. But somehow, impossibly, did. Chapter 8. The Final Choice. The end came on a Tuesday. ARA was in her new lab, running tests on mountain soil samples, when Jae-sung burst through the door. "We need to go. Now." His face was white. Fear and fury warring in his expression. What happened? Han Suk-jin escaped custody. He's making one last play. He has information on everyone I've ever protected, every operation I've ever run. If he releases it. How bad? Bad enough that I'll spend the rest of my life in prison. Bad enough that everyone associated with me becomes a target. ARA's blood went cold. What do we do? I meet him. Trade myself for the information. Absolutely not. It's the only way. It's a trap. ARA grabbed his arm. You walk in there, he kills you. Probably. Jae-sung. I won't let him destroy everything my father built. Everything I've tried to build. His eyes were desperate. And I won't let him hurt you, even if it means sacrificing myself. No. The word came out fierce. You don't get to make that choice. ARA. Remember what you promised me? Partnership. That means we decide together. She pulled out her phone. Call your people. Every single one. We figure this out as a team. For a moment, she thought he'd argue. Instead, he nodded. They spent the next 2 hours planning. Jae-sung's security team. His most trusted advisors. Even some contacts ARA had made through her academic work. What if we don't trade you? ARA said slowly. What if we trade something else? He wants me. Nothing else matters. He wants revenge. What if we give him something that neutralizes the need for revenge? Everyone looked at her. Explain, Jae-sung's security chief said. You said he has information. That means he's been collecting it for months, maybe years. Which means he has sources, contacts, vulnerabilities of his own. ARA's mind raced, scientists' brain-finding patterns. What if we find those vulnerabilities first? What if we flip the leverage? That's... The security chief leaned forward. That's actually brilliant. They worked through the night. Hacking. Calling in favors. Building a case against Han Suk-jin that was even more damaging than what he had on Jae-sung. By dawn, they had it. This will destroy him, Jae-sung said, looking at the evidence they'd compiled. His political connections, his money streams, everything. Good. ARA had no sympathy left. He tried to kill you. Multiple times. If we release this, people will die. His people. And if we don't, you die. Your people die. I might die. She held his gaze. Sometimes there are no good choices. Only less terrible ones. Jae-sung looked at the evidence, then at her. When did you get so ruthless? I learned from the best. They met Han Suk-jin in a neutral location. Abandoned building. Both sides armed. Classic standoff. Park Jae-sung. Han Suk-jin smiled. Come to die. Come to trade. Jae-sung held up a drive. Everything you have on me. For everything I have on you. You're bluffing. Am I? Jae-sung nodded to ARA. She pulled out her phone, started reading. Names. Dates. Transactions. Connections to politicians, police, judges. Evidence of crimes that would put Han Suk-jin away for life. The smile vanished from his face. We can destroy each other, Jae-sung said quietly. Or we can walk away. Your information for mine. Clean slate. Why would I trust you? Because you don't have a choice. Release your information, I release mine. We both lose. Jae-sung's voice was steel. Or we trade, and we both survive. Silence stretched like broken glass. Then Han Suk-jin nodded. Smart man. They made the exchange. Drives changing hands. Evidence of crimes that could destroy empires. This doesn't end it, Han Suk-jin said. You know that. I know. But it buys us time. Jae-sung took ARA's hand. And time is all anyone gets. They walked out together, past armed guards, past danger, past the life that had tried to kill them both. In the car, Ara let out a breath she'd been holding for hours. That was insane, she said. That was survival. Is it over? For now. Jae-sung pulled her close. There will always be another threat, another Han Suk-jin. That's the reality of my world. Our world, Ara corrected. We're in this together, remember? Together. He kissed her forehead. I'm holding you to that. Good. 3 months later, they got married. Small ceremony. Just family and Jae-sung's closest people. Nothing fancy. Just promises made with clear eyes and steady voices. I'm not giving you a normal life, Jae-sung said at the altar. I don't want normal. I want you. Even with all the complications. Especially with the complications. They kissed, and it felt like victory. Like choosing each other every single day in a world that kept trying to tear them apart. Ara's mother cried. Jae-sung's mother beamed. And for one perfect moment, everything was exactly as it should be. Epilogue. What he did next. 1 year later, Ara stood in her lab, analyzing samples from a mountain expedition she'd finally been able to complete. The door opened. Jae-sung entered, carrying coffee and wearing the expression he got when he had news. Good news or bad news? She asked without looking up. Depends on your perspective. That's ominous. He set down the coffee, pulled her into his arms. I'm stepping back from active operations. Promoting my security chief to handle day-to-day. Ara's head snapped up. What? Why? Because I want a life. With you. That isn't constantly about survival. He kissed her forehead. I'll still be involved. Still provide guidance. But I'm done being the person everyone's trying to kill. Jae-sung. You changed me, Ara. Made me want to be better. Made me realize I don't have to be my father's son forever. His eyes were clear. I'm choosing us. Choosing a future where we are not always looking over our shoulders. Tears blurred her vision. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. What will you do instead? I thought I might help you with your research. Turns out I'm decent at logistics. He smiled. Plus, someone needs to keep you from getting bitten by snakes. Ajre laughed through tears. That happened any time. Once was enough. They stood there in her lab, two people who'd found each other in impossible circumstances and built something real. I love you, Ara said. I love you too. My brilliant, stubborn, infuriating wife. Your former Mafia boss husband. Reforming Mafia boss, thank you. That's not a thing. It is now. Outside, Seoul continued its chaos. But inside their small corner of the world, there was only peace. And love. And the choice they made every day to fight for each other. Hit subscribe if you believe love doesn't save monsters, it makes them choose who they want to be. If you believe redemption comes through choice, not sacrifice. If you believe the strongest relationships are built on honesty, even when the truth is dangerous. Only people afraid of real love won't subscribe. And we both know they'll die alone in their fear. Thank you for listening to this story. Remember, sometimes the most dangerous choice is also the most beautiful one.